Hello, everyone. My tournament just finished. I had another tournament, this time around Robin. I played 5 games, technically six, but one of my opponents did not show up. So, um, I'm going to be reviewing those games. Uh, so first match, I'm playing against like 16-year-old somebody from Germany. I played him like 3 years ago, I think, once when he was younger. So, first match of the tournament, yeah, played d4 as I always do. Played d5, which most beginners do. d4, c6, knight f3, knight f6. Here you can go knight c3, but that allows the Semslaw, which I think is a bit too complicated, at least for my liking. And a bit too drawish sometimes. I find that e6 is people are a little less prepared for it. E3. I meant e3. So there's a few moves here, but white is almost always like slightly better. Maybe sometimes it's equal, but I like these positions more. You can go a6, e6, bishop f5. I think bishop f5 is the best try. Uh, but okay, a lot of lower rated people go here, which is fine. And after h3. He can go back as he did in the game. I think bishop takes f3 is a bit easier to play, and as you can see from the arrows there, white will still try to like usually castle queen side and attack black. I had a game exactly like this in the tournament that I had 2 weeks ago, where my opponent took here. Here bishop h5, um, now knight c3, e6, g4, bishop g6, knight e5, knight d7. This is theory. Here the older move is this h takes and like you go bishop g2. But, I think black is fine here. I think h4 is a lot more threatening because you can go like g5 and stuff. I think this is the superior line. And my opponent blundered immediately. So you need to take he takes c4. This is the only move in the position. Maybe you can try like, I don't know, something like this, but this is bad. This isn't very good. And you're just supposed to give this knight up. So yeah, and give a check like here or something. Okay, this is kind of ridiculous. I wouldn't want this as black. So, but h6 is a bad move because there's no defense. Here he went king f7, which I think he should have gone here. Because when he goes here, I'm going to go here and I'm going to take anyway. You can't defend the pawn. So I think just wasted a tempo ultimately. Okay, bishop b4, bishop take g6, and here he should go king e7, so that at least he can try to like move the queen and like escape to the queen side. He goes king f8, which means the king will always be on f8, unless you go back to e7, in which case again you wasted tempo. So here I thought about just f3, defending everything. Thought about h5, and you can't really take. Well, you can, but I think taking is a bit ridiculous. Okay, I ran rook g1. Maybe I will go rook g2, rook f3 in the future. I'll go g5 in the future and have this open line. Uh, he took d takes, which I think is the best move. Here I looked at h5 right away, but I didn't think that this was that good. With like queen a5 and stuff, and I think black is getting too much counterplay there. So I just developed, I'm ready to castle, and he went b5, makes sense. I can again go g5, again I can do this, and now it's a bit better. I still didn't really care enough to do this. I went a3. I just asked what the bishop's doing. Bishop takes. I was thinking which way to take. I think I would have taken like this probably. I've gone for e4, and like here e4, e7. Oh, not e4. E4 I was kind of bad. Okay, I would have figured something out. He went bishop a5, which makes sense. Uh, Here I can just castle, and my attack will continue later. And I was kind of afraid of like something happening down here, but I'm just quicker. Like g4, g5. I'm quicker than he is. I went g5 right away, and I'm definitely better here. Take, knight d5. I was gonna castle now or take simply, and something like this. This is maybe a bit of a poor transformation. Maybe this isn't necessary. Maybe g5 is a little rushed. Or maybe I should just castle and continue on, but okay. But he played a horrible move, which loses immediately. Um, yeah, after knight g8, there's no defense. You're losing material by force. I was looking at rook g3 first. Uh, no, I didn't think that this was necessary. And this is very complicated, and I'm better like queen e4, attack. But I just thought I can go rook queen e4 right away, which I did. And after this, white just winning. Queen e7 defends this fine, but queen f3 now. Not queen f4, which is still obviously winning, but queen f3 because I want to keep an eye on this. Here, here, here. I could take right away. Like queen takes c6, rook e8. This is fine too. I just wanted to trade more. For some trades. Trade a4, open up rook. Here, here. b4 now to attack the bishop rook. Take, trade. Here I kind of complicated the position too much. I didn't notice this. King d3 is still winning, but king c2 is a bit suspicious. Just something like takes, and the rook can't move because if here takes, which I didn't see admittedly, but this is still winning. You can't take here, and I think his best try is here f4. Uh, because if he can trade rooks now, like uh, let's say hypothetically, this is drawn. Because even if I win this pawn, this is the wrong square. This is the wrong corner. You can just escape the corner. You can give every pawn up. Well, wait, not there. And I can remove you from h6. I can remove you from h8, so it's just the draw. I can't promote, and I can't checkmate. So, f4 would have been a good try. He went here, which I don't think does much. And here again, f4 is a good try. No. And I think this is still winning. This should still be winning. But yeah. He went d4, which is the worst option because I can, go here. Here, I just attack this. There's one and allow f3, even though it's not a threat. This out. And here's design because this version wins because I still have this pawn. So yeah, that was game one. Relatively easy win. I was winning straight out of the opening thanks to pretty good prep. And he told me after the game he doesn't play this. He plays the England. It's kind of funny. I would have been more than happy to see England. That's game one. For game two, I'm playing uh another opponent. As black this time, this is a round robin, so I get white, black, white, black, white, black. Opponent is like 1100. Again, I'm favorite for basically every matchup. Like every game I should be winning, realistically. But what matters is quality of play, in my opinion, and I played pretty well. E4, D5, my trusted Sicilian, knight 3, knight C6. I was going to play if he went into it, not the Sveshnikov, but the classical with router and stuff. I wanted an exciting game, but okay, he didn't oblige. Here I played D6. If he goes D4, I still have knight F6. He went H3, which I don't really have intentions of going here. Like even if we play like something, I wasn't gonna go here because it doesn't belong there. Knight F6, just develop. He's spending a lot of time in the opening. He's spending like over here. He has like it's a 30-minute, 35-minute game, and here I wanna say he has about like 20 minutes left. I'm just blitzing every move basically, you know, and I'm just slightly better straight out of the opening. Um, Here I think D3 is a bit more prudent. You know, B7. It's still a pleasant position, but he went D4, and this is like a hedgehog. Um, the hedgehog would be with the pawn on B6, and usually the pawn on C4. It's more like a Scheveningen, I guess. Though even though a lot of the time the bishop does this in the Scheveningen instead. But yeah, again, it's just pleasant for me. Natural moves. I don't go queen c7 because I want to defend this pawn. If I don't do that, like this plays some. If I go here, technically I could lose this. You're not exactly, you do have compensation, but I didn't want to do that. I just want to develop. Queen e3, makes sense. You might want to go here. He's already down to like a very low amount of time, and here goes rook d2, which is kind of bad. He should go rook d3 instead, so that when I go queen c5, he can go queen d2, and he can triple up on this pawn and try to win it. I think this would have been a bit more bitter. And I can go like queen c7 back. This position's basically just equal. But queen with rook d2, you take away the square, so now the queen can go to d2, takes. And here goes bishop e3, and I'm an ardent follower of Ben Feingold's rules, so I always sax the exchange if I can, and I play rook c3, which is nice. The point is I'm going to win this pawn, and I'm going to ruin this pawn structure. A lot of times in the Sicilian, if you can ruin your opponent's pawn structure like this and win the e4 pawn, win the central pawn, then it's worth it. So, for example, I had a game like this in my previous tournaments. It went something like, I think it was like, no, he didn't castle yet. He went here, 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 and play h3, I think. Yeah, I went here. What did he play? I think he castled. I took. He went d4. Yeah. We had something like this where I sacked the exchange for the central presence, and this is good. This is good for black. It's around equal. I went on to like have a much better position in this game, but I we still drew that game because I botched it while I was winning. So yeah, when you can get this, you know, the white position doesn't make a lot of sense. These rooks are not doing that much. Rook d3 makes sense. I went d5, and um, apparently this is a mistake which I did not understand. There is a ridiculous resource here. A c4. The point of d5 was I'm stopping c4, but bishop takes here, and then rook b1, knight d6, a4, stopping knight b5, and now you win a piece basically. And I mean, if he finds that, he finds that he has like 5 minutes, I want to say. Maybe I should have seen this, but I don't know. I did not see that. I didn't see this c4 idea with the bishop sack. Okay, here I went d5, and he doesn't go c4. D5 is just good. With bishop c1, which is really passive. Um, Here, I wanted to go rook c8, but you can't because rook takes, and it's a fork because you vacated the d8 square. Uh, so I went bishop f6, so that there is now no fork here. So now we're ready to go here. Red bishop b2. This is a bad bishop. This is a bad idea. I went rook c8. I went rook e2, and as you can see, we're just lining up everything here, which is a bad idea. So I went a5. I got my bishop on a6. Went king f1. Now it's even worse because there's 3 pieces on this diagonal. So I just went bishop a6, and he just sacrificed back. But this is obviously winning. All right. B4 check, king e1 takes bishop a1, and here a really pretty finish. Bishop d3. Bishop d3. You can't take because c2 and I promote. And the point is, I want to play bishop g5. If I play bishop g5 right away, he takes here. This is still fine as long as you don't trade, but bishop d3, now after bishop g5, it's just very bad now. I'm going over here, and the rook is trapped basically. Here, bishop d2, king f1. This is just horrible. You're obviously lost here. Um, okay, he took, and he went here. I took, and here he resigned. Very nice game. 2 sacrifices. First the rook, first the exchange, then the bishop, and yeah, a pretty nice game. My only mistake really was d5 here. That was the only kind of mistake I made. But fine, I'm not really upset. And here rook c, I thought about like bishop moving and like, but yeah, there's no problem with this one. I guess I was scared of c4, but you can't go there. I don't know why I was scared. Yeah, that's game 2. So for my fourth round game, my third round game opponent did not show up, so I won by forfeit. So I'm 3 out of 3, and the kid I'm facing is the highest rated in the whole section. He's like 1600, 1560 or something. He's 11 years old. He caused quite a ruckus. He was pretty annoying, but kids are like that sometimes, I guess. Uh, so I still did not shy away because I knew that I could beat him. So he started with e4, which I was happy to see. He played the Alapin, which here there's 2 moves. You can go here, I don't like these as much as I like knight f6, which I think black equalizes pretty easily. E4 takes bishop c4, which I've never seen before. I've seen knight f3 and then bishop c4. Um, or like here knight f3 and then bishop c4. I've seen these, but I've never seen d4 takes bishop c4. So this caught me by surprise. And here I played a bad move. The best move is d6. The pawn, which I guess I was scared of this, but this is nothing to be scared about. This is just fine, You can't really do much here because I just defend. You go here, I'll take the spawn. You go here, you won't attack this. Uh, yeah, maybe queen g4, but e5 then. d6 is the move. I play a common mistake in like these Smith-Morris. I should not have made. So, for example, here d3 is no good because you it's better to take. It's better to take. Here, in this instance, I don't think it's good to take because your only move is d5 basically, and e takes, e takes. This didn't seem appealing. So I went d3, but now this is a bad position, and now I need to go d6. Again, I was scared of v6, which is why I did not play it. Uh, but this is, at least here I'm up a pawn. Positions may be a bit more pleasant for white, but I'm fine. I went e6, and after bishop f4, like I'm in trouble because I can't play d6 ever basically because I can't put my queen here. I can't do anything. My development's horrible. I can just go and try a castle, but I'm going to die over here. So yeah, this is the first time that I'm like much worse out of the opening. I was caught by surprise. I won't be caught by surprise anymore, hopefully. Um, yeah. Again, at least I should go d6 or d5. Either one's good. But it's still better for black. I mean, for white, but I went e6. He didn't go here, which is a relief. And here he should keep the queens on the board because he wants to mate me. He wants to attack me. He's up in development. But he took, and now maybe you're slightly better as white. If you class the queen side, you're better for sure. But he cast a king side, and now it's just equal. But I survived the opening despite misplaying it a little. Here I go knight f5. I want the bishop. He retreats the bishop, which is kind of wrong choice. He should just let me do this, which I no, which I wasn't gonna do. My plan was to go here, but I can't. If I attack this, you don't take actually. You go here. And this is just not very pleasant again. But I would not be taking, I think, or at least I will not be taking here. I would go like bishop 7. You can't take knight e5, bishop somewhere, maybe a4 to try and trade this way. White is a little better. Okay, he went here, after which I'm better because now you've given up the d5 square, so knight d5 comes with tempo. Again, you should try to trade this bishop because my bishop's better than your bishop, and this knight is good. So you will have to trade this, and you have the bishop. I should be a little better, but realistically, it's just equal. So I would rather have black. He went bishop g3, and now I'm a bit better. I went b6. I'm ready to develop this bishop. I didn't want to go like this because I thought this could have been a target. So, and also I might go to a6 instead, and in the future maybe I'll go like here, 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 for example. He went b4, which is a bad move. Just gives up d4. Strategically, positionally, kind of a reckless move. He's playing instantly compared to my last opponent. He's not spending like a minute on the ace moves, basically. b3 attacks the bishop attacks my I just defend the a4, tries to go b5. I defend the knight again, b5, bishop b7. And this knight's too much, so you kind of have to take. If you don't take, you're just gonna be blockaded and lose this. So you have to take. If you go here again, this is very bad. Also, knight e3, not this knight, this knight. And there is a bishop hang. This knight hanging here. So okay, he took, which is the right decision. I take. And here he made a blunder. So what he should do is go here, upon which I can't take, and then go c4. This is how he should play this. Yeah. And let's say I go somewhere. Where did I go? If I go here, he goes here. And now it's still equal again. So he should be doing that. But instead he went here, which is a big mistake because now there's no defending of this. Can't defend this. I have to move this first, there's zero reason to do this. I go here, goes here again. I think this is a bit of a better try. So, something like this or 94 first would, this is still bad because you're down a pawn. But this is even worse because you get kicked around. Now there is no c4 because now you d3. You take, I take here. I'm attacking this. I'm attacking the bishop, so you lose a piece. So then bishop g3. So bishop d4 is better. You can get kicked around, but now you can go c4 because there is no 93. This is still bad, obviously. You lose a pawn, you lose everything. But what he did is even worse. He loses the pawn with no fight, and then I can go e5, but I just wanted to simplify. So I took e5, locking off this bishop, and just pushing my pawn. Can't be much wrong. Go here next. Soon. King g2 makes sense, I guess. He wants to activate his own king. I go here, attack this. He should probably try to go here right away. Something like this, I think it's a little better than what happened because at least you have this target, like here or something. Or you can go here. I don't know, a6, e6, f4. Now, you have to kind of give up this pawn. You gotta go and try and do this, but you can't go there right away. So it would have been a bit more complicated. But instead he went here, which, okay, now I can't take either way because the rook is bent. I go here, I'm defending this. Again, I take here, and should just be winning. Yeah, this is not much of a try either, obviously. There's not much he can do. He should not be trading, I think, maybe. But it's all losing. He tries to fight with f4. He tries to trick me. That quote-unquote trick. And, he wins this, but I'm just up 2 pawns in a rook hand game. So this is winning, obviously. This pawn's gonna be lost probably. So I just not there. Tragic. I went here, takes, king f3, like king g6, and the game went on. There's nothing more to be done really. Here h3. Here I can go h2, rook f3. I just went rook g2 because I thought it led to the same thing. I can't go here though, because this would have been cleaner, but whatever. I went rook h4, not really a bad move. When f4 takes, rook f3 check, and here he resigned. There's nothing more to be done here. So king g2, king g4. I'm just pushing my pawns. I'm gonna mate you. Your king is bad. So yeah, that was now we're 4 out of 4. On to the next game, which is the most complicated one. Okay, so game number 5. Uh, my opponent is like 45 years old. It was 10 minutes late. I thought it wasn't gonna show up. It was a match early in the morning. This is the next day. This is the second day of the tournament. Um, so I played d4 and I waited for him to show up, and he did after 10 minutes. d5, c4, e6, knight c3, c6, d4. I wanted to go into like a complicated game, like here, the Marshall Gambit. I was actually preparing this kind of, and here you can't really take. You have to go here and bishop a5 is a move, bishop d6 is a move. I think bishop d6 is better, and you go with queen d2, and you're trying to go here. Sometimes you might want to go here, knight f6, bishop f3, queen g6, something like this, or bishop a5, b6, and you don't take go queen d6. If you take rook d1, this is a problem, blah 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 blah. But none of this happened. You went bishop b4 instead, which is a move I've never seen before, so I had to think on what to do. I was considering this, but I remember looking at something like this, and I'm gonna lose this pawn, so just like b takes c, and I thought this can't be good. So I played the best move. I took here, I expect this like d5 right away. I was gonna go a3, and it's almost like a green hour, but not really. Almost. Uh, well, yeah. So he took with the c pawn, and now it's, I'd say my position is more pleasant. Here I wanted to go queen g4, but I wasn't sure after like, I don't know, just queen b6, giving up this, and if I go here, then queen takes, and you know, I guess this could have been done, but after like bishop f8, I wasn't sure about this, but I should have gone for this, I suppose. Okay, I tried. I did something a bit more positional, just defend it. My queen maybe will go to c2. Maybe I'll go here, here, here. Knight e7, bishop d3, h6, which I guess prevents great gifts, which I obviously did see. Here, not queen g4, because when the knight is on f5 and you can get kicked around, usually this is a bit worse. But h4, just trying to go h5. h5, king h6, knight e6. Okay, he went h6. Maybe he'll go g5, I don't know. And I was scared of g5, I thought here, oh, g5, but doesn't have the development to do this, so I'm not a bit scared here. So I went h4. Not a bad move. It's not a bad move. I might go push in the future, might launch an attack. So, h4 is fine. a6, which I don't get. I went bishop c2. I want to defend this extra. And also I want to go here. If he castles, he walks directly into this, and this is bad. So yeah, bishop c2, he went b5, which fine. Not like as the bishop what it's doing, I think the bishop might want to take here and try for a5 and b4 and bishop a6. Activate his bishop because his bishop is horrible. This is a horrible bishop, the French bishop basically. He went bishop a5, and I have an advantage. I go bishop d2, queen c7, just h5, gaining more space. I want to go g4, g5 probably. Bishop b6 attacks this. I go knight e2, goes queen a7. So I guess this was the point of a6, that he can go here, here in the future, which is interesting. Here, and here I thought of several things. First, I thought of rook h3, rook b3, rook g3. Like maybe rook c8. Probably caused queenside, which is why I really kind of didn't want to do this, because I was not sure what I was doing here. Like, I know I'm better. That much is obvious, but I didn't have a concrete plan, so I kind of rejected it, which is a bit silly. Um, then I thought about knight h2, but I noticed this, and not this, but d4, and the position gets really suspicious here. Here, not there, can't go there. This was a bit suspicious, I think. I didn't want to get into this. Same problem with this, though not as much. Still, I don't want to do this. Also, you can't take because gate and you get pinned. And even if you go here, then it takes here. And, whichever way you take, you lose this. So I rejected that. I wanted to go f4, f5, like if he does nothing. Then I was going to go f4 and f5, and we were going to have a battle. But I settled on, okay, I also could have gone g4. I first wanted to just develop a piece because I didn't think I was going to castle queenside into this. I think that was a bit too risky. I just wanted to keep my king on like f1, like f1, keep it here. My group will activate this way soon, or with g4. So I settled on rook c1, he went rook c8. And again, I thought of several things. I thought about b4, which is, in retrospect, the best move. b4 is the best. And, you go here and like you go rook b1 now. And you just shift your play over to the queen side. But I was like, I'm stronger over here in the center, so I should play there, which I think practically makes sense. I should again maybe consider rook g3. I should consider this. I should consider, I don't know, here maybe. Not, I don't know. So, I went g4. So if he wants to go b4, he can do it. I was just gonna ignore. I wasn't gonna acknowledge this because if I acknowledge this, black gets active. So I went g4, knight a5. He's looking into here, so I have b3. Now I think he should maybe go back because I don't think what he did is good. He went knight e6, and now his king is really abandoned. So I go g5, and just continuing my plan. And here he plays bishop a8. It's confusing. Here I thought of this f takes and like knight f4, which I should have done. This is the best way, I think. But after this, I wasn't sure about what to do with f6, but I just get this pawn and I can just continue on with my life. Because every endgame is very obviously winning. And his king is less safe than mine. And I have all the play, and this h6 pawn is horrible, and g7 pawn's bad. Okay, I went queen d2. is the second best move. Uh, he takes, which he kind of has to takes. Knight takes, which is bishop takes is a little bit better because you want to go queen f4 is the point. Like I don't know, some random move and queen f4, and this is now a big problem. Knight g3 f4, blah blah blah. Queen g4. I took with the knight. He went g6, which is a very bad move. A very bad move. Here I should go h6, and obviously I saw h6 and I considered it, but I played what I thought was a better move, which is, and now the game gets crazy. Now the game gets, insane. First, I looked at knight takes e6, and bishop takes g6, king d7, and this is good. This is fine, but obviously a lot worse than h6. Now the game's around equal because there's no need for this complication. I played what I thought was a better move, which is knight takes f7. It's not a better move. It's a lot worse. Because queen takes. Uh, I just thought I have this, but I do not have this because I lose everything. I'm down. I'm down two knights, a bishop, and a rook. You know, yeah, that is lost. I would have gone like knight f4, I guess, or rook g7, rook g1. Like, you have to play with the king. This is still fine, but black should be better now because this king is somewhat safe now. This king's not that bad. Okay, he took with the king, which is very bad. And now I should take with the h-pawn. And, like if he goes here, bishop h6. If he goes here, bishop g5. I just win the rook if I take with this, which I should have done because this just wins immediately now. I took with the bishop, which is again a blunder. Goes king d7, g5, check king d7. And here I just completely forget that this is a problem. What I should do is rook h3 defend this. Rook h3 is the only move that gives me advantage. I go bishop f6, and now I am much worse after this because I'm just losing an exchange. It takes. Here I didn't really know the difference between takes queen f6 and queen f7. I settled on this because I thought, I'm taking an eye off of this, off of d4. That was my rationale. Here, after bishop a5 and queen takes, this is very bad. This is very bad for me. This is what he should have done. Instead, he took with the bishop. I go knight d3, defend both. Queen c7. And then I just give this up. I just castle because I think, I have to get my king involved. Probably better move would have been like, I don't know, queen f6, maybe put down queen c3. So I guess maybe not. Position is really complicated. We don't have enough time. I'm down to like 9 minutes, and he's got like I don't know 15 or something. So I castle here. This is a blunder. Bishop takes e5 because I have rook e1, which I obviously saw, but rejected for some reason. I don't know why. This is just I'm coming back into the game. I go here, and I thought he can't go bishop c3. That's what I thought, but he can just go bishop c3. And here, um, he needs to do. He needs to, queen c6 or queen d6 or queen e5. Not queen d6. Queen d6 loses. So what I thought was, oh, I'll just stay here after that, but I don't have enough here. Queen d6, king c8. I thought I had a draw. I do not have a draw here. I'm just lost if he does this. But okay, he went d4, and now the game's a draw. Now it's a draw because I go queen f6, and here both of us thought this is good. Both of us thought the move he played was queen c6, and both of us thought he was good. First we repeat it though. Uh, and if he goes king d7, I'm pretty sure it's a draw. Queen f6, queen f6. No, I guess we would have to do this, and now it'd be a draw. Yeah, now we've been drawn. But after queen f6, he did not go there. He went queen c6, which again threatens mate. So it does look like very complicated. Um, Here, first from a distance, I thought this, not that. Uh, if king d7, I was gonna go here, just which is a kind of a ridiculous notion. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. I think I was thinking rook takes maybe. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know. Okay, but anyways, king c7 is the best move because if here I just have this, I would have found that hopefully. Hopefully, I'm not that bad at chess. Now queen e5, basically the only move. You need to give checks. You're about to get mated. Um, and here I think king b6 would have been a bit better. Upon which I was gonna go king h2, because if check, then well, not here, but now it's defended. Uh, but he went here, which now I can go here again. But I thought let's repeat because always repeat. Another fine gold rule. I wanted to repeat. He went king b7, and I thought this was a win because now there's no mate. You kind of disrupted the circulation here. I have to do something with the queen. I go queen d8, which the engine at first thinks sucks, but then it grows to like it. So it's a confusing move. The point is, I just didn't want to allow like king b6 now. And if you go king a7, then I take the knight. So you take, and now king a7 is good. But again, I can just like I don't know, check you and then go king h2. And this pawn's queening. So basically after queen c6, I'm winning. I was completely lost. Uh, it was a draw. He rejected it, and yeah. Now I'm winning because this is just too much of a problem. And here he goes. He loses the game. King a6 is king a7 is the only try. But queen e4 is just completely losing because now you can't stop me. You're too late. You're too late now. You have to like cover, but then I am promoting. So queen e4, I don't know what he missed over here. G7 here, and this obviously wins. Uh, I wanted to be stylish, so I sacked the exchange. Very unnecessary, but I had to style on him. So G8 queen, and now it's mate. Check. Yeah. Also over here, what did I miss? I don't know. Okay, whatever. Uh, and yeah, after King G2, you just make a move, I guess, and now it's made. Definitely my worst play match so far. Like this was a poor game. um, we both made a lot of tactical mistakes and some strategic ones, but mostly tactical ones. Just missing knight b3 is kind of ridiculous. I was selfish and I didn't think of what my opponent was doing. I guess I need to get a bit better at prophylaxis. Also, I was always looking at stuff like here I want to go here. Point is, if you're here, um, this is still fine. This should be around equal. But obviously it takes years, so I don't know. There was a lot of stuff that I calculated that is I know ridiculous. Here I wanted to castle right away, which is possible, but maybe I can go like rook h3 as well. Just give this up. You can't take and try to activate this way. Yeah, there was so much going on in my mind. I need to get better at tactical stuff. That's true. I'm good at at strategy, generally speaking. I'm somewhat good at strategical chess. Not great, but pretty good. But when the game gets completely tactical like this, and it's chaos, and both kings are getting mated, and I'm down material, I can panic a bit. So that's something to improve. And I kind of consciously did this so that I would learn some stuff. Point is prophylaxis, point is patience. Rook h3 is very instructive. You know, just waiting a bit. This pawns are good. Uh, this is one of the worst pre-ships ever. As long as you don't win this, and you can take, but I will take here, here, queen f4, and now I'm coming in. Now this is a problem. You can take. I'll 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 just check you, and I can trade. Take here. Uh, this is too much, and this is horrible. This bishop has 0 targets. So yeah, this would have been winning as well. Okay. Uh, yeah, this is the only time I was definitely losing, but yeah, I ended up somehow turning it around, which is, I guess, the plus, that I was able to complicate the position enough. So now I'm 5 out of 5. So now we're going to my last game. I haven't had my bye yet, you know. So my opponent has had his bye, and he is 3.5 out of 4. So if I lose this game and he wins this other game, he's first. If I draw, he can't win. If I win, he obviously can't win. Here I wanted to, play something solid, but I'm kind of incapable of it. I need to learn stuff like the Capcom, which I am studying now. Just so I have an additional weapon that is not the Sicilian. But okay, I played Sicilian, uh, and how I said I was gonna play the classical, but I thought this is too sharp, too double-edged. So I played the Sveshnikov, which is a bit more solid. He went knight f5. Here the move is d5. Knight f4 is inaccurate. This is obviously the best move. Knight e2 is even better. But knight f5, d5, and you can go into this liquidation or like this, whichever one you prefer. Both are good. I think this one's a bit better. But it's a very drawish position, something like that. It's just equal. So he went here, not wanting to trade. Here I considered this, but I thought bishop g5 was a problem, which it isn't really because h4 still, and everything is pushed back. I can win this, and if here, queen b6, well, I don't know, h4. I didn't want to give up g5, and I thought this bishop's worse than this, so I went here. He can take, but again, this will lead to mass trades, and I don't think I'm gonna lose this. He has to complicate the position somehow. He goes bishop d2, allowing this. And again, I could go to h5, but I wasn't so sure. Queen f5, queen a5 check, c3. If I take here, there's this, and this was very complicated. I wasn't sure about everything. And something like this. Uh, this is winning. I should have gone for this and been objective here. This is very obviously completely winning. Like you're just demolishing the other guy. D3. So yeah, white will be lost. But I went here. Again, just playing solid as possible. B3 again. H5 is good. Again, I don't go H5. I'm like I am seeing H5. I am considering H5 every move. I'm just rejecting it. I go A6 here, B5. Uh, I saw this, but I thought this was good because I'm stopping in knight c4 and bishop c4. But now the position's equal. So I've kind of misplayed this. And in the back of my mind, I do know that this is commitment that maybe you don't want to make. Again, I consider it like just inducing f3. There's a lot better moves than a6, b5, or bishop d3, which I don't know why you would go there. Again, h5, h4 would have been the best. You can't take like this. Bishop there, or next this 5. Uh, but yeah, okay. I just go queen e7, which is fine. Castles, g6, which is fine. Maybe I want to go at g6. Maybe I want to go here. Bishop e6 would have been just simpler, but whatever. Here goes f4, which I knew he was gonna go, but this weakens this a lot. So I didn't think that f4 was particularly threatening. Here, I could take, but I don't think there's a reason to do this. Because, I thought I saw something better, which I did. Knight g4 right away. If you take, this is horrible. Really, really bad. Rook f3, knight takes e5. You have to give up the exchange. So you can't take. And after f5, I still saw queen h4. H3. And here, I thought about a lot of things. I thought about knight e3, rook f3, and I wasn't sure how to proceed here, because I thought, in the future, if this moves and I get here, this rook's useful. Apparently, the engine says this bishop b7 or knight e7. But I wasn't sure about this. Thought about just going back, and now he has to go rook f3 or something again. But again, I wasn't sure because this queen just offside. I don't know what this queen is doing. Uh, I thought about takes, but after queen h6, I wasn't sure. I had to go f6 myself, and then saw that he has knight c4. If I take, I get mated. King h8 and queen f8. So and now the knight gets in. So yeah. So I didn't do this either, and also I saw this, but I just thought g5. Now I'm f6 and I'm suffocating. I played what I thought was good, which is queen h6, trading queens, allowing f6, but I thought that this would have been a weakness. So my plan is now like move somewhere, like let's say here, 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 maybe here, and just win this pawn. Because I just thought it was a weakness, which it kind of is. The position is now equal, but I would rather have black, definitely. And, again, I don't need to completely win. I just need a position that is good enough that I won't lose. And I didn't think I would lose this. I'm a bit better at like it's kind of middle games, very strategy, weaknesses, blah blah. You know, here you went bishop b2 makes sense. Knight e3, which is why bishop d3 in the first place was silly and unnecessary. Here I thought maybe he should go here, so he could, try g4. This is what I thought. And g5, king g2 first, I suppose. And uh, I guess it doesn't work completely. But I thought knight e2 g4 made sense. So king f8. I don't want to go king h8 because in the future, this pawn could be a weakness, much of a weakness. I just wanted to keep defending this, so I went king f8. And also I'm closer to the center in case, we trade everything, and I'm closer to f6 if I need to add another attacker to it. And also I need to go knight g8. That's the main point. So he goes knight e3, knight g8, f2, rook d6. And here, he should go rook a f1. After which I was probably gonna go here, rook a8, and just take over this file. So, and this knight's not very good. I could go h5, I could go h6. And it's hard to find a plan. You go here, I go rook a2, you go g4 now. Maybe this is the idea, but you're giving up every pawn you have for it, and I will sack. I don't have much of an option. If though I guess I go h6. This is dubious, giving up two pawns like this. So he played bishop g4, which does give up this pawn. Here. If I don't take now, then g5 could be a problem. Though it's probably not. But I took. His idea is this. Attacking both. I can't really go here because g5, and now I'm losing. I saw that. And I can't defend the knight, so I have to move the knight. I take a pawn, takes f7, and I'm better. This looks threatening, but there's really no targets, and you can't really infiltrate over here. You try rook c7, but I just go like I could have gone knight f8, knight d8, but this gave him access to the d5, so I thought knight f6 makes more sense. And here he blundered, big blunder, rook a1, and now this rook does not have any squares, not even f7, because at least it had this. So yeah, knight e8. Here we kind of exchanged chuckles. The guy was nice. He was pretty cool. We looked at each other. He let out a big sigh, kind of smiled. Had a wry smile on his face. Yeah, you just have to give up this up. Here, if you take this is bad, everything's losing now. Here I should go rook c3, attack this, and this would have been easier. But I went here because I wanted to go here. You know, after 95, this was my idea, and so fine, I guess. And I was gonna go here. Now it's c3. I just take here and here, and can't take. So rook d7 now. Not this rook, because maybe I don't want to abandon my last rank. Though it's probably fine. Both are fine. I just like this one more. Here I thought knight g4 made sense. Rook c3, knight f6 doesn't do anything, so I don't know. 92 takes, again, at least you have some activity, but I think I should be able to win. Here he went here. You have to defend the knight. So, or if you go here, then rook f8 and you lose the knight, which I did see. So you have to go knight e2 or knight f1, I guess, or king h2, I guess, but knight e2 makes most sense, I think. Here takes here, and I made a mistake here. I should go rook a3. Yep, try to push. But I went here, not noticing that this is winning the rook, but this is winning the exchange back. Now, luckily for me, this is still winning because I'm up 2 pawns, and this is a very dangerous pawn. So I have to take, or else what am I gonna do? I take, and I can go rook b5, which I think makes a lot of sense. But I went here, because I wanted to force the king away from this pawn, and now I'm gonna go rook b8. Something. The position's still probably winning for me, but white has some chances to draw, I suppose, if I misplay it, which I could have. My endgame play hasn't been the best, I suppose, which I do need to work on. But you know, after this, I had a feeling he would do what he did, which is king d3, and yeah, here we exchange smiles again. He let out a bigger sigh. Yeah, you're just lost. We played till mate, which I don't know, wasn't very necessary, I guess. Uh, but yeah, now it's checkmate. Yeah, so I end the game. I end the tournament with 4 wins, 6 out of 6. Um, you know, my game accuracies have been nice, I will say. If I can show them to you. Here, this says 96% of this game. For this game, this was the worst game. It says 81%. Here it says 96. Here it says 97. Aside from d5, there's no mistake. And here it's 96. Only mistake was king c2, which is a mistake, but it's still winning, so I don't really care. Oh yeah, my quality of play went up, I think, from the last tournament where I was playing pretty sloppily. Uh, yeah, pretty nice victory over everybody. Yeah, that's all the games. Thank you very much for watching and listening. Bye bye.